from Brazil, from India.
And let's take that conversation further. Joining us here in the studio is Konstantin Shepin, CGTN Russian senior commentator, and Liu Baocheng, Dean of the Center for International Business Ethics at the University of International Business and Economics. Also joining us via Skype is Paulo Menechelli, co-founder of the think tank Observer China and PhD candidate at the Institute of International Relations of the University of Brasilia. Great to have you on our special program, gentlemen. Hello. So why don't we begin here with Mr. Shepin. BRICS countries share many common philosophies in global governance, despite having vastly different political ideals. So how can the member countries achieve the goal of building a community with a shared future for mankind through the exchange of governance and development models?
In fact, the BRICS countries have a lot of very positive ideas, initiatives about improving the global governance. Take China with its initiative, for example, for global security or for the global development promoted by Mr. Xi Jinping, etc., etc. So BRICS has already offered the world very positive practices about improving the governance system, and the BRICS countries are exchanging these practices. For example, last autumn, the Russian president, Mr. Putin, acknowledged that Russia is very interested in some of Chinese very practical steps in the national governance and probably going to study that, right? But the question is, although we have these very positive exchanges within the framework of BRICS, will this situation happen globally? A couple of days ago, I was talking to the ex-ambassador of Russia to China. Right now he's a Russian senator, Mr. Denisov. And he outwardly acknowledged that the current BRICS initiatives about improving the global governance practices and system are being ignored or blocked by the collective West, and sometimes even demonized. Sometimes these initiatives are described as attempts to undermine the global governance system, etc., etc. And you can see these rhetorics of the West practically everywhere. You can see it in the major international organizations. You can see it in the Western media, which position itself as the voice of the global community, which is of course a humbug, because G7 is indeed not the approximately 200 countries and nations in this world. But still, these practices of ignoring or trying to block the corresponding BRICS initiatives are over there, and they're still evolving and developing into even more scary, so to say, practices. Right now, the collective West is trying to cancel not just BRICS global governance initiatives, but to cancel the whole cultures. Say, Russian culture is facing this problem right now. So what BRICS should do today is to probably, enhance its immunity system against these medieval practices by the collective West today, and of course improve its unity to gain its right to speak out on the global arena. Yeah. How we can reach it through the expanding the BRICS, of course, through expanding the media cooperation, etc., etc.
So, yeah. Right. You mentioned this deep divides between the West and developing countries. Professor Liu, drawing from your experiences working in multinational cooperations across the globe, especially in the education sector, what kind of philosophies of governance from China could be perhaps shared among other BRICS nations to foster deeper mutual understanding?
Well, the first philosophy is to promote peace, because China always believed that for countries, small or big, weak or strong, there must be unity of national sovereignty, and no one should really predate on each other. And second is really respect, because that's respect the different level of governance, because the different countries have different history, different stages of development. So there is no uniform rule that can be imposed on, quote, unquote, the democracy of all the countries. It is really the test of the people, whether they have the type of job opportunities, whether people can really have the hope to go for prosperity. So this is a major test of the legitimacy of any governance. And then the sharing, because based on the respect, the countries need really to share with each other through, one is that through aid program to some of the countries that are having some of the mishaps, and that's the humanitarian aid. And the other is a joint development through the exchange of goods and services, ideas and technologies, and particularly people-to-people exchange. So, and lastly, I think the non-intervention, because China always insists on the fact that there should be no political tagline to any type of aid or any type of collaboration. So in the whole, it's really a genuine respect of each other's choice with the notion of inclusivity, diversity, and sustainability.
And of course, the soft power of cultural exchanges cannot be underestimated in promoting understanding between different nations. Let's now hear some Brazilian perspective. Mr. Menechelli, as an expert on China's cultural diplomacy, I want to get your take on some effective ways to promote cultural exchanges among BRICS nations, especially in the film and television industry.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for having me here. Well, in recent years, several noteworthy initiatives have taken place within the BRICS aimed at co-producing and promoting films. For example, 2 amazing feature films were co-produced, Where the Time Has Gone in 2017, involving 5 directors, each from a different BRICS country, and Half of the Sky in 2018, featured 1 female director from each country. Additionally, in 2019, there was the documentary Kids in Glory, a BRICS co-production with 1 director from each country. While these initiatives are crucial, there's room for improvements in terms of their visibility and promotion. Many people, even within film circles in countries like Brazil, remain unaware of these endeavors. Thus, a greater effort is needed to ensure these films are effectively advertised and accessible. This could involve enhancing promotion, wider availability in cinemas and streaming services, and even the establishment of a dedicated streaming platforms among BRICS countries to make these films more accessible. Moreover, universities in Brazil and other BRICS nations have been stepping up with film festivals organized by students to showcase and discuss films from BRICS countries, involving faculty, students, experts. To truly succeed, these initiatives should receive support from their respective governments, ensuring wider access for the public. Therefore, while there's already notable progress, further investments, increased accessibility, and strong governmental backing will be key to realizing the full potential of these collaborations.
And Mr. Chapin here, we understand that the BRICS group features a lot of diversity among cultures, vastly different thoughts on the way people do things. And now we are entering this post-COVID era. What are your thoughts on perhaps some better ways to promote people-to-people exchanges among BRICS countries?
Well, we have a very good experience about people-to-people exchanges already, of course. And you know, basically 1 hour ago, I was on air with one of the friends from South Africa, and we came to the mutual understanding that basically there's a very simple and a very strong logic between people-to-people exchanges, which is basically where there are these kind of exchanges, there is more mutual understanding. When there's more mutual understanding, there's more mutual trust, which is basically, as they love to say in China, more important and more precious than gold. Because when there's understanding, there is a huge room for further cooperation, right? We have a really good experience about that if we take, say, Sino-Russian cooperation. Starting from 2006, China and Russia, on the yearly basis, are holding a so-called theme years. Since then, we already held, I don't know, youth exchange years, tourism years, media cooperation years, etc., etc. Every theme year, within the framework of every theme year, there are more than 200 projects of people-to-people exchanges, which enhances the trust greatly, enhances their mutual understanding greatly. So the result is obvious. Name me another country that has such a strong relationship with China as Russia right now, right? The relations are very strong and growing exponentially. So these practices can be further applied within the framework of BRICS. Of course, as you said correctly, it is very sometimes problematic nowadays in the post-COVID era to develop the people-to-people exchanges quickly. So in my point of view, it needs some government support in this sphere because, you know, in the post-COVID era, the people's income are not that fast, there are not that much chance to travel, etc., etc. So if BRICS countries provide more government support for this people diplomacy, that will play a very important role.
And then let's talk about the bigger picture, Mr. Menechelli. Despite representing over 40% of the global population and contributing more than a quarter of worldwide economic growth, the cultural influence of BRICS nations has appeared limited. What measures should be taken to empower BRICS countries in promoting their cultures globally so that they could better embrace this global civilization initiative proposed by President Xi Jinping?
Excellent point. First, there's a structural issue that cannot be overlooked. This is evident, for instance, from the dominance of Hollywood films and cinema, leaving little room even for local content in each country. This challenge underscored the need for serious investments in cultural industry. There is a notable example even within the BRICS, like India. In the year 2000, the Indian government granted the film industry a formal status of industry there, which resulted in a greater access to resources and foreign investors. This led Bollywood's transformation into a global cinematic force. For developing countries, of course, allocating resources to culture can be challenging, but investing in creative sectors has broad benefits, as highlighted by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, including economic growth, prosperity, and well-being. Additionally, as already mentioned, cultural investments can bolster soft power, enhancing international relations for BRICS nation and for the BRICS as a whole. Lastly, and I think more importantly, culture plays a crucial role in promoting mutual understanding, bridging differences, and opening new avenues of communication, thus having the potential to transform society. Achieving these goals require time and substantial funding, but potential benefits make the effort worthwhile.
Well, interesting discussions on a very fresh approach to the BRICS Summit. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank our panel again, Mr. Konstantin Shepin, Professor Liu Baocheng, and Mr. Paulo Menechelli for your insights. Appreciate it. Well, various